We are live. I am jumping on now to get everything going. Tap the screen if you know what I mean. Can you hear me well? Let me know if you can hear me well. Let me know if you can hear me well. Hello, who's that? It's everybody. Everybody come on in. It's noontime. Tell a friend. What up, DDT? Tell a friend to come on in. Normally I'm jamming something. Let me see what I got on the burner. Do I got a beat over here I can play? Let me see. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. I just want to recap, yo. We're going to recap this week, man. This week was an amazing week. We had an amazing conversation that I know is going to change somebody's situation. It was a great conversation. It has been this week. If you're just tuning in and you have not had an opportunity to watch any of the other lives, they're available for replay on YouTube at youtube.com, ICGREEN1. What up, Brianna? How you doing? How you doing? Come on in. We about to get the conversation started. We're about to get this conversation started. It's important. There were a lot of dynamic things that happened this week. Great conversations, great mind-shifting things that we talked about. Some things that I think are going to make a huge difference to you and everything. What up, Q? It's been a minute, man. Good to see you. What I'm recognizing and what I'm appreciating as I'm watching more of my Facebook family tuning in. You know what I mean? I noticed that a lot more of my Facebook crew is definitely checking in. Make sure y'all are sharing the live. Make sure y'all are telling somebody and getting getting the word around. I know that these conversations are beneficial to whomever tunes in. This is an interactive chat, so as you type, I will respond as I see it. You know what I'm saying? If I miss a comment, just repost it again and I will chop it up. But we talked this week, right? We talked this week about a few things, man, that I think should give you another perspective on everything that you've been doing. This week started off with a great conversation on being selfless. The actual statement to open up the conversation was, don't be so selfless that you see yourself less. I'll say it again. We started off the week on Monday with a conversation about selflessness, and it said, don't be so selfless that you see yourself less. And it's crazy. I watched a video earlier today that kind of just made, I didn't talk about it so much from a work perspective. I just talked about it from a, just don't give so much of yourself that you don't see yourself in what you're doing. Like, most of us do things and we have purpose behind them. But at some point, when you've done something for so long, the challenge is to continue to see that purpose. You forget, like, why you start saying, why did I do that? What up, Donald? You say, hey, why did I do that? Like, what was I doing this for? And you'll lose your way, and you need reminders. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have reminders that whatever you do, and listen, wherever y'all are at, make sure y'all hitting the like button, the thumbs up, or whatever it is that shows that you guys are here and you're enjoying the live. Hit the like button, share the live. Support the live. Now, on each one of these platforms, there are ways to support it. There are badges on Instagram. On TikTok, there are gifts. And on YouTube, there are super chats and super likes. And the same on Twitter and the same on LinkedIn, Facebook as well. So, but you can't do something so much. You can't be so selfless. A lot of people be like, I just do it because I love it. That's one aspect of why you should do something. That should be part of the driving force, is that you do it because you enjoy doing it. Like, that's got to be underneath it all, right? And with selfless people, that is one of the driving forces. We just like seeing, knowing that we're doing some good, that we're making somebody, happy, and that we're, that people are enjoying us as much as we enjoy them. We like seeing other people happy, and that's just good people. That's you being a good person. You know what I'm saying? And it's important that we are good people, right? But you can't be so good to other people that you forget to be good to yourself. Honestly, you have to be greater to yourself than you are to anybody else. That will raise your level of selflessness to a place where you're not concerned about the shortcomings of others. So some of us are vibrating so low that everything affects us when someone doesn't do or behave in a manner that's reciprocal of what you've done. You know what I'm saying? And not that you do it for the reciprocity, but you do it so that you feel great. But it feels even more amazing when you see that whatever you did, you can feel great about it. What's up, boss lady? I see the fire emojis. Imagine this. Imagine you, out of the kindness of your heart, you pull up to a spot, you give, you see a homeless person or you see somebody who's disheveled, they're going through it, and you give them more than what most people give. Say, for instance, instead of giving $1 like most people do, you give $20. The guy says thank you, and that's enough. You know what I'm saying? But there's a thought in your mind, you're saying, I don't, and you are overly concerned, most people are overly concerned with what that person's going to do with that money. After you give them that money, you should kind of just be like, I've done what I've done, and look the other way or do whatever, go about your business. But sometimes we don't, and we hope that they're doing the best with it, right? And if that person does do the right thing with it, and you see them or run into them again, and they tell you the backstory of what that money did. Like, there are several programs on YouTube which I enjoy clicking through on the shorts. You'll see instances where people just random gifts of kindness. They just do things, and then they run. Like, it's funny. And you can see the person that they did this blessing for, this person that they impacted, like their energy is crazy. They sit there and they read it, and they're like, yo. And their reaction in the beginning is so crazy because, what up, Tashi? Is because they don't expect that. Nobody's looking for that. You know what I'm saying? In today's society, especially after 2020 and that whole pandemic episodes, people don't seek to see the kindness in others when they're in their presence. You know what I'm saying? Like, the selflessness is at an all-time low because people have more problems than they've ever had. Like, that's one of the constructs of a controlling situation in our country right now. The means of controlling us is by controlling how you feel and how you interact with one another. The first thing that they said in 2020 was stay away from each other. They went as far as to lie and say, you don't know if you have it or not, and you may give it to somebody. And that was that to me was such a divisive technique and tool that I didn't participate in that at all. What up, Marmar? What up, Lady China? I didn't participate in those things. Listen, also, when you join the live, you guys, make sure you say hello or something like that. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. But make sure you introduce yourself. It's like walking into somebody's house and not saying nothing. When you come into the live, y'all at least say hi. You know what I'm saying? So I can see you, know that you're here, and know that you're going to interact or whatnot. But joining the lives and not saying nothing is like walking in somebody's house and just sitting on the couch. And watching everybody else converse and continue to do their thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to feel awkward, but I don't want to feel awkward either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, DDT, I see you. So I'm saying, just manage that. But the divisive technique in our country is a tool that's been used for years. You know what I'm saying? We're still dealing with racism, and we look at it from a place like everybody feels that way. And not that. And in our self-defense and in our defenses, we have to, because we don't know who's who. You know what I'm saying? Nobody walks around with any kind of identifier saying, hey, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody walks around with saying, I'm one of the good ones. That's another issue if we keep going down this divisive trail. That's one of the challenges we have with law enforcement, is that we can't recognize good cops from bad cops, and bad cops are not being outed. Good cops don't expose bad cops. You know what I'm saying? So we're in a situation where these divisive techniques are working all over the place. And so you won't be as kind and as generous as you normally would be, because we have all these other issues that we're working with and that we're working on. So that's one of the things that also when it comes with selflessness, you have to take care of yourself first. If you're vibrating, what's up, Yasmin? If you're vibrating at a higher level for yourself, you're going to illuminate and you're going to disperse this energy and this vibe, and people are going to be attracted to it. You know what I'm saying? People are going to be more willing to want to do. You know, more people like to catch a moving train than a train that's sitting still. Have y'all ever heard that analogy? Nobody wants to get on a train that's sitting still. Everybody wants to get on the train that's moving, as they should, though, right? Like, who wants to just be stuck? Everybody wants to be on a ship that's sailing. Nobody wants to be on the ship that's at the harbor. It's like a museum at that point. But when you're moving, when you're traveling, and you see all these different things, it's more attractive. It's more appealing. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever noticed this? And this is for anybody in here, especially my entrepreneurs. You get more help the more people see you doing stuff. This is why it's important for you all to perform and get on stages and be out in the public and do things. If y'all ever watched the growth of a YouTube person, it's because they're constantly doing things and they're constantly active and they're always been out there ready to travel. Say, I've been on the train since 18. That's what's up. You know, but to put that in context, we'd actually have to know how old you are right now to say, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Just so you understand how that statement came across. I'm sorry. But I've always seen people really get involved and show some support when they see you doing something. You know what I'm saying? When they see you active. Okay, yeah, that's that. You've been doing the thing. You've been doing the doggone thing for over 20 years. That's what's up. So whatever it is you're doing, my advice to you would first be, what up, Kadu and Dinah? My comment to you would be, first off, take care of yourself. We talked about that. We talked about, and in that statement, we said, put your mask on first. What do they tell you when you get on an airplane? Should there be pressure? Should there be something going on? What up, Calvin, DJ? They say, if the cabin should lose pressure. Now, I'm not telling y'all to wait for your cabin to lose pressure. I'm not telling you to wait for things to go south. I'm telling you, put on your mask now. Meaning, make sure you're good. You're no good to anybody when you're doing bad. And I know you feel like, I need help to do good. But honestly, you have everything that you need. You just got to apply it. Everything you need is within you already. Too many times we look outside of ourselves to get the things that we want, and that goes. I could talk about that of putting ourselves in a position where we need an outside source. The only outside source you need to be cultivating is your relationship with God, because that covers everything. I dropped a meme on people earlier this week on my Instagram, and it basically just said that if you really wanted some covering, that you would deal with it from this way. Without God, you have to face all of the problems. You got to deal with everything. You're afraid of everything because you got all these things coming at you, and the world is compounding itself, and all these energies and all these things are coming at you. But with God, you only have to deal with one thing, and God will take care of the rest. Your faith and your influence and your faith and energy will be the thing that is the leading force, and God will create that covenant over your life so that you don't have to worry about all those things. I'm not worried a lot, you know what I mean? Because I have a relationship with God. Now, as we all grow, it should get stronger, you know what I'm saying? So that selflessness, you know, you're protected. And in that, your strength will come and be greater than the strength that you carry on your own. That's one of the things that, you know what I'm saying, we forget, right? And we are very prideful people, and we forget that we're not even succeeding in life. We're not even managing our lives the way that we are based off our own energy. And for those of you who don't pray as much as you should, for those of you who don't give reverence as much as you should, but you're still being blessed, I mean, typically that's because you have a praying family. It's typically because you have somebody who's always got your name in their mouth when it comes to being on a bended knee. You know what I'm saying? Tashi said, I don't worry a lot either. I keep glass half full mindset. Glass half full is a great way to look at things, right? But even more so than looking at the glass half full, think of the glass as the glass replenishes itself, so it's never going to be empty. I have an endless source that will always continue to bless. Now that changes things, right, Tashi? Because now you don't live a scarcity mindset already. You know what I'm saying? Because you already have a hopeful and a positive outlook towards things. But when you say to yourself that this is going to regenerate itself, so I can go willy nilly, I can go hard in the paint. Now you're living a different life. Now we're talking about the other things that we were talking about putting 100% into something and beyond. And that once you put that 100% into whatever it is that you're working on, just know that when the time comes, you'll be able to expend more than that 100%. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yep, Tashi said, nice shift. I usually there, never go on with knees. That's right. But when you're already flying, right? When you're already moving, when you're already doing your thing and you're at 100%, you're 100% in your effort, you're 100% in your connections and whatnot. When adversity comes, when anything comes, you don't bend. In fact, you're able to go further than you ever thought you were able to go. You're able to extend that further than you've ever imagined because now you've been lifting at this weight. So to lift a little bit more is now a mindset thing. It has nothing to do with your physicality because your physicality has already been on its job consistently for so long. Weightlifters know this all too well. There are several people who lift and, they lift, I don't know, let's say they get to the point where they're lifting 225 and they lift 225 for a certain amount of time. I don't know if y'all notice, like weightlifters lift the same weights so that they can build up to move to the next weight. And the irony is when they choose to go and try this next weight, it's easier than what they ever thought it would be because the mindset is already there and they've done the foundational work that gets it where it needs to be so that it's a easy, I won't say an easy lift, but the adjustment to it is not as difficult. So for instance, a person who's looking to upgrade or change their situation, you may have been lifting at 225 for a while. You may have been working your job at a certain situation for a while. But if you're preparing yourself for a change, even in your relationship, if you're looking to advance or make that change or make that adjustment, well, if you've laid the foundation down and you've been consistent, making the adjustment is a subtle tweak versus an overhaul. That's how you want to move throughout this thing called life. You don't want to have to overhaul your life every time there's adversity. You only want to have to make subtle changes. Listen, I'm in the music business, right? And there's a process called mixing. And when it comes to mixing the song, what happens is somebody who only does this, like my guy, one of my guys, Leslie Breathwaite, is probably at the top of the game when it comes to being a mix engineer. My other was my mentor, Bernard Terry. And what they used to do was this. And this is how I interacted with them. Because they were at a higher level of mixing than me, I would give them what they needed to mix. So I give them all the tracks and whatnot, and they would go and they would mix these records. Now, at this point, I don't have to do anything. I don't say anything to them. I get out of the way for the beginning part of the mixes. Why? Because the foundation is set. I've already told them, what genre of music it is and what, who I want it to impact and how I want it to hit. That's the only thing I got to have prepared. The foundation is, hey, this is a club record. I need the drums to bang. You know what I'm saying? I need the melody to shift, and I want them to hear my vocals clearly. Little stuff like that. Some stuff you don't even have to say to a great mix engineer. Like I don't have to give Leslie anything but what the track is, and I give him a full copy of what I've been listening to. That's the foundation. Here's what I've been riding around to in my car, and this is what I like. Then he takes it to the next level and does the fine tuning, the frequency changes and all that. And it's still not done at that point. The last point is I don't have to raise levels and all that, do all that crazy stuff. I don't have to do a whole lot because we've already got a awesome foundation. The only thing I need him to do now is tweak it a little bit for the aesthetic that I want to hear and that I want to represent and present to the world. So I'll say to them, hey, listen, the hi-hat is sticking out too much. Just bring that back a little bit. And then the conga is really the instrument I want to focus on in the drums. Can you do that? And then the bass line or whatever it is I need the subtle adjustments with. And they're patient enough to go through this process until we all agree, like, this sounds amazing. That's your life. Your life, it's imperative that you get things in order to a foundation that is at an awesome place. We talked about foundation as well this past week. It's important that the foundation that you're building is strong and as close to where you want it to be as you can get it before you present yourself to somebody else to be in your life. How about that? Before you invite somebody to be a part of your life, make sure that you're already elevating and pushing at 100% and that your foundation is solid. So that when somebody comes in, they're not loosey-goosey, willy-nilly trying to figure out where they fit in or where they should be at or what they should be doing. That should already be established as far as how you move. And God willing, you will run into someone who has also been practicing these same premises. This is why I tell y'all to share their lives. Because as you share these lives and these conversations I'm having about it, now you can say to yourself, there's no way they can't know. And this is why I really push to make this platform huge, is because if I'm saying it in the basements of people's houses right now, and at some point, I'm able to say it on the mountaintop with a camera lens in front of us, the awesome part is that everyone will know what you know. Like we all know right now, collectively, that the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They never got to go around saying it. You'll go watch them and look for them because you understand that they have been consistent throughout the season and they're exciting to watch. And we share that knowledge. We talk about Kansas City and their gameplay and their quarterback and their coaching and all that kind of stuff on a regular basis. TV shows and other people promote that team in conversation because they enjoy what they bring to the table. They're exciting, those kind of things. If I'm not exciting, y'all can stop watching me right now and do something else with your time. If y'all not gaining or benefiting enough from me that you can't share me, then I think you should do something else with your time. I think that the way that you show the world what you're on and what you want them to know is you share the things you want them to share. I share certain memes and stuff on my social media because I want you to know what I know. I want you to see what I see. I want you to be on what I'm on. So should I ever run into you, should we ever be in the same space, I know that you should know what I know because I shared it with you. I gave it to you. I'm the one who sent it to you. We should be able to converse about it because we're on the same page. You all are getting involved with people who aren't on the same page. You all are managing your circle with people that ain't on the same page. And for some reason, you're unwilling to have the conversation to even get on the same page. How can you surround yourself with people who don't know what you love, who don't know your favorite colors, who don't know what you love to eat, how y'all gonna interact? How does that work? Like, I really think that being selfless is also a tool to learn more about other people. Like, you need to know about the people that you're around. This is why, I mean, I've talked about this over the past couple years. People are asking, everybody got a mission. Everybody got some. I know that's weird to me too, Tashi. Tashi on TikTok said that's weird to me. It's weird to me too. We all have this thing, right? We've seen the events that have happened over the past 2 years because it's been spread worldwide. I wish I was shared as much as the conversation of George Floyd. I wish it didn't have to be a tragic event for people to share the content and the things that will help shift and change culture. But for some reason, we won't share the things that will uplift us as much as we will share the things that bring us down, that exploit us. Blows my mind, but I'm not, that's not the, where I want to live at. But you have to put the love out more than you put the hate. It's funny. I watched another thing with Tank on it, and Tank was talking about how, Sam Smith, a great vocalist or whatever, a great white vocalist can put out a song like Stay. He can put out Stay With Me. He could put that song out and it goes mainstream. Everybody hears it. All the radio stations support it. It goes to #1 with a rocket. You know what I'm saying? It goes quickly. But if a black artist or somebody else was to put out that same song, the shelf life of that is not as high. Now, I can't explain to y'all the dynamic, but his breakdown was basically this, that the structures out there, and I believe this, and you got to know this as well, the TikToks of the world, the Instagrams of the world, those social media sites that are able to control the ebbs and flows and quote unquote the algorithms or whatnot and the shadow banning and those kind of things, they don't want the love out there. They'd rather have the violence. They'd rather see us bashing each other. They'd rather see us being jesters, and they'd rather see us dancing like a fool, and they'd rather see us doing all these other things outside of promoting love, promoting strength, promoting unity. They don't want to see that. And sometimes I believe y'all don't want to see it either because you don't promote it. Like, you don't share it. I can't do anything but present myself in my conversation. That's the extent of it. I can't share all this stuff. Y'all got to do the sharing. Like, literally, when people say, is your show sponsored? I laugh and I say, yeah, it's sponsored by the people who show up. Y'all are the ones who sponsor this show and the sponsorship, you know what I'm saying? That it has, whether it's from likes, shares, gifting, from commenting, from subscribing, from following. That's all y'all. I got no control over that. So when I look at the sponsorship of my channel, I'll be like, yeah, it's cool. The attendance can, the attendance ebbs and flows. There's certain days that are better than others. My job isn't to control any of that. It's just to show up and hopefully benefit somebody. Tasha said, nope, no love anymore. Singing, gone in music, gone on shows, just gone. You're absolutely right, because they don't want the love to be broadcasted. Why? Because it changes things. Love changes things. When you see love, whether it's between people or somebody who's passionate about what they're doing, when you see that on the forefront, it gives people hope. They don't want, hope changes things. It puts a glint and a glimmer in your eye that says I got a chance. I could beat this. This thing could be better. Vibrating at that frequency changes things. It changes your life all in one thought. And then if I had to go back and put it back in perspective for you, God is love. God is love. Yep, love is the highest energy exchange. So when I say, and everybody knows this, if God is love and they don't want you to put and they don't want you to put, and they're taking God out of schools, and they're taking, and they're shifting things, and they're limiting the places where you could talk about God. What up, Amelia? What up, Ken Rock? So you understand that they're taking the love away. They took the love away. Listen, one thing that you couldn't see during the pandemic, if it was up to them, if they had things the way that they wanted it to go, and they still are somewhat managing this in certain places and stuff, is your smile. That mask, they've been saying to y'all those masks didn't work. They've been telling y'all that these masks were just a ploy, but they also did more psychological damage than they did physical damage. And one of the psychological things that it did is it removed the details of who you were. You couldn't see people smile. What up, Kiki? You couldn't see people smile. Do y'all know how important it is to see somebody smile? A smile exchange is powerful. Me smiling right now, the fact that I'm smiling, y'all know I feel great. Y'all know I feel good about something. That is infectious. More than COVID. You can do that. Ken Rock said, I tried to smile through my eyes. Go ahead, Tyra Banks. She over there trying to smize. I see you. But we was over here looking like Muslim women. All of us. We were looking like Muslim women. Smizing. Trying to show people we were friendly through our eyes. Trying to show people we wasn't a threat with our eyes. I don't even know how to do that. I got to smile with my whole face. You got to see this. This smile is infectious. Look at that. And I got braces just to make my smile even better this year. Y'all tripping. If y'all don't smile as much as I'm going to be smiling, once these braces come off, y'all can forget about it. But I smiled before then because I ain't had jacked up teeth. What up, Eris? Yeah, Eris said, you made the show, the sign says so. That's a t-shirt back there. And I got those t-shirts in men and women's sizes and in different colors. So if y'all want one, the women's fit cut is like a little, I think it's like a little half shirt or whatever. It's a little bit differently, but it's fly. But they erased that energy. And if y'all haven't seen, that has been, that there has been an attack on positivity over the past few years, then you understand how imperative it is for you all to bring it. Mary, it is imperative that everybody on this live start managing their lives from a positive standpoint. From the minute you wake up and till the minute you lay down. We had a conversation about why it should be easy to do that. Like, I'm just recapping this week because some of y'all missed it. Those of you who were here, I know y'all still excited. Y'all still on fire from it. I know the flame is still burning because this week we really dropped some bombs. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was some real bombs being dropped. You know what I'm saying? Because there shouldn't be a moment of your life that you aren't celebrating the accomplishments that you have had. And I talked about the compliments that you had. Thank you. Eris says, I like your positivity. It's all in me. I can't help but be positive. I come from a family that has overcome and been through so much that there's nothing else for me to do but be positive. Trust me. There's so many instances where I got to say thank God because that every day it's revealed to me my purpose a little bit more every day. I understand by the way I've affected some people's lives to get to this point. I know my life has been necessary. I know my life that I needed to be here. And in that, I can't help but be excited. I appreciate the badge, Eris. But I say that to say this. For what you did to get here to today, you should be celebrating because there are so many that we have seen not get here today. Whether from, freak accidents, whether it's from some choices that they shouldn't have made, or just, it's God's will, whatever the case may be. The fact that you are still chosen to be here should be the most electrifying thing of your personality. Miss Precious, you're absolutely right. She said the first celebration is waking up. You get a chance to make a choice. Well, you get a chance. You just listen. You've been winning, and this should be somebody's slogan. I don't know whose it's gonna be, but y'all should adopt this slogan. You've been winning since the beginning. I can't stop saying it because it makes so much sense. The things you had to go through to get to where you are now matter. And they should matter more than everything else in the world to you because you are such a chosen person. You are such a chosen person. I appreciate the star, Tashi. You are such a chosen person. If you don't know it, I'm going to say it again. You are a chosen person. There's no way what we are and how we are and the fact that we get this shot at life we had nothing to do with it. Tashi said, it don't feel like it when I look at my bank account. The fact that you have a bank account, Ken Rock, you are winning. Because I can tell you there are thousands who don't even have a bank account. The fact that you've been able to take some money that didn't have to go to something right away and put it somewhere where it can mature, hopefully, somewhere that can hold itself hostage, you are winning. Whether you know it, there are people who don't have a bank account. There are people who can't save. There are people who can't have a bank account. You are winning. Now, I'm not talking about competing with other people. I just need you to know when you're winning for yourself because it doesn't matter what's going on without other people. Your success level depends on how you look at success. There are people like Kanye West who look at success as like, yo, I want to be, a gazillionaire. And that's dope for him. But there are other people who have a success say, I want to have this much so I can be comfortable and I can live above the BS. Your level of where you see your success at is going to depend on what kind of work you're willing to put in. Now, there are sacrifices to get to different places and things that you're trying to do, but know that you are a winner from the beginning because there's no way the script could have been made without God saying, listen, y'all, I got something up my sleeve. I have a purpose. There's one of you out of the 4 million sperms swimming towards that egg. I got something in it for you. Joe Brad Cooper on Facebook said, tomorrow is not promised. Be grateful for every day God gives you. Someone didn't wake up today or not in their right mind. Thankful for life and good mental health. And the funny part is, and I like that, Joe, because most people don't even consider the second half of what you said. We only talk about life or death. We don't talk about the changes and quality of life. Now, if we get into the quality of life, which I might save for next week, because I think I will save a conversation for the quality of life till next week, because it's important. The quality of life is extremely important, and it actually is more important than life or death. The quality of life is greater than the threat of death. I need to write that down. I like writing down the stuff I want to talk about. Y'all have to excuse me. Your quality of life is greater than the fear of death. It should be. Bear with me one second. Quality. Thank you for that, Joe, of life should be greater than your fear of death. Woo, that's so powerful. Y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea how powerful that is. Your quality of life should be greater than your fear of death. And I got so right now in my mind, y'all, if y'all have ever been in my lives, then y'all know I'm on fire right now. Y'all got to know that right now in my mind, the conversation is spinning out of control because I want to talk about it right now, and I'm just recapping for this week, and that wasn't a part of the conversation this week. Joe, you should have tuned in earlier and gave me that gem so I could, so we could have had it for today. But that is so powerful. When I talk about you, there's a line in a Drake verse that said, "All of us are alive, but not all of us are living." All of us got a life, but some of us ain't living. Let me reference that Drake verse too. Drake verse. Because these are foundational in the conversation that we got to have. Quality of life is, your quality of life should be, physical and mental health. Lord, we need them both. We absolutely do. But that, again, it's how you look at things. It's how you shift things. You know what I mean? It's how you decide to experience your life. You absolutely have a choice in the matter, whether you have extreme finances or if you don't. It's always going to be how you look at things and how you pursue your life in that. A lot of us, a lot of the kids I grew up with, in Flint, we weren't well off. I can tell y'all that right now. We weren't, the coolest thing was our parents worked at General Motors and they brought home a decent living. They brought home a decent wage. That was cool. None of us lived above that metric. You know what I'm saying? And there were times when, especially the tougher times was when GM closed down, and those that had relied on that check and that energy from GM, well, a lot of us didn't change our personalities because our foundation was already set. Yeah, it got a little tougher, but we're a community of people who enjoy each other. Like, we learned to love and communicate, and our characters and all that. Listen, it was tough, but we was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all all know that. Everybody knows people who are, who grew up in the hood or whatever, but managed to have, like, our childhood, I can be honest with you. We wasn't rich, but we were so rich in everything else. Like, we weren't financially well off, but we were so well off with one another. Like, we had a great childhood. Those that know me and that I knew, you know what I'm saying, riding bikes all the way over to Joe's house, going to church together. Like, we all did things that kept our mental health straight, even in the midst of poverty, even in the midst of, what people call ghetto. I want to say we were such a step above that way of living that our quality of life remained dope. Like, our quality of life, because of the friendships that we cultivated, because of the people that we were with, we just had a good time. And I miss that for these kids that are growing up nowadays. It's such a challenge, you know what I'm saying, that they don't get to interact with one another the same way that we did because of technology, you know what I mean? Because of they're looking down at their iPhones and their head is in their lap, you know what I'm saying? They're always bent over like this, and that's the thing that I miss for them. They don't get to play outside as much. Yeah, we were good in Flint. Like we really, really cultivated dope relationships with people, and we were out of the house. And I have a love-hate relationship with technology. And anyone who is a conscious or a critical thinker, anybody who looks at things logically, you'll understand why. You know what I'm saying? It's because for everything that they've given us in technology, they've taken something away that's been foundational to the family, to the care, to the personality of the people. You know what I'm saying? For everything that they've done, they've made it comfortable. Or they're trying to make it comfortable for you to be alone. Like we talked about earlier about the divisiveness. Your technology is a divisive tool. I can tell you right now, and I'm guilty of it as well. I'm a part of the system. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I could, I would play my video game 6 hours out of the day, and I would interact with people online, and that would be my, the way we shift. Why? Because we're living in cities that have us spread further apart now. Our friends don't live in the same city. The people that we trust aren't surrounding us. We're making work friend relationships. So that while we're at work, those are the cool people. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that we're left with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a person who, here's the thing, y'all, and this is why y'all have to talk about it. This is why y'all have to share this conversation, because the further we get away, the more technology they impart on us, the less these kids are gonna know what it felt like to be in those situations. So y'all we have to do some undoing. Remember how I talked about tweaking earlier in this conversation? We got to tweak some things and dial it back. That's one of the things that happens in mixes sometimes. When the foundation that's being set has been put out there and you're watching the foundation it's not foundationing, then you got to tweak it. Then you got to go back and adjust it. And it's okay to take a step back if it's going to get you the results that you want. Somebody doesn't want to go, quote unquote, backwards, but really your one step back is 5 steps forward, because you're just ramping up to launch yourself. And you got to understand that. Joe on Facebook says, great support system in church, school, and the community. We took care of each other. We struggle to have that now with our kids. Absolutely. Because because the exploitation of so many different things has challenged the merit of those things. When she said great support system in the church, for some reason, the church doesn't present the same things it presented for us as we were growing up. What up, Lady Holly? The church used to represent this community and activism and approach to, to being whole within yourself and with God, and that's missing. Why? Because it was also doubled down when you went to school. You know what I mean? It was also doubled down because they let church happen in school. They let you pray in school. They started off school with a prayer. We had things that were foundational, and that foundation carried you, and it's still carrying most of us. To be honest, the foundation that we created when we were in school and as kids is still with us. I enjoy seeing people on Facebook quote Miss Stram, who was the vice principal at my school, that she said that thing over and over and over again. She said, it only takes 1 second to get in trouble. It could take your life for a lifetime to get out of it. I love seeing that quote because it meant so much to me. My brother Paul said, kids will never know Kmart, Toys R Us, and the Joy Bus. They definitely won't know the Joy Bus. Those other two things, I mean, they got Target to replace that. They got Walmart to replace that. But the Joy Bus is something totally different. Like, if y'all have never rode on the Joy Bus, it was a church bus that went around to pick up the kids to go to church or to revivals or go to Awanas and different programs that they set up for you to communicate with other kids. They don't have that now. They don't have an opportunity for kids to cultivate each other with the spirit. What they do, I'm actually sending my girls to a program called Winship Camp. It's a Christian camp. They're going to go for the first time. They're going to go. It's an overnight program. So they're going to stay, I think it's a week, either a week or 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know. I think it's a week. But they're going to go away to that, which is cultivating them, and they're going to be rich in spirit. They're going to be rich in personality, how to communicate with each other, and be in those positions that most kids aren't. And these are the differences that we see when we watch these kids grow up. And some people and we look at the behaviors of kids and how they're interacting and doing different things. It's those experiences that enrich me. Awanas, y'all don't have any idea. If y'all don't know what Awanas is, in Flint, Michigan, I went to a mixed church called Great Lakes Baptist Church. And that church was such a foundational strength for me to be at that church at that time, because it was at a time where I would have been in the streets otherwise. And they had programs that would take me out of the streets at least 2 days out of the week for a program called Awanas. The Awanas program was a program that gave you motivational things to learn about the Bible, to learn about God, to quote scripture. And this is the reason why I know as many scriptures as I know, is because they made it fun to do that. LA, I see you. LA just got a super chat on YouTube. I appreciate that, bro. They made it fun to learn about the word of God. They made it and really listen, they gave you incentives. So for those who knew and went with me to Awanas, y'all know I won a bike before, I won a rabbit, I won all kind of, like, they would always have candy bars and all that. I used to have all that. Why? Because I am such a competitor that I hate losing, and I'm going to learn as much as possible to outshine, outdo anybody. Anybody who knows me, they know I hate to lose. I am such a competitor, and I will do the things that are necessary to win. If somebody told me today, is like, yo, you got to be able to lift 300 pounds to win, I'm going to go and start cultivating a mindset shifting routine that's going to not only get me physically, mentally, but spiritually ready to go lift that 300 pounds. And you give me a month, I will be able to lift 300 pounds. Why? Because and people gonna be like, yo, you learned you was lifting 225 when you started. Now you lifting 3. Yeah, because somebody told me I couldn't. Yeah, because somebody challenged me on doing it. I went and I looked and I researched. We don't do enough research, and we don't challenge the people in our lives to do enough research. I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't have. For some reason, we don't admonish people who are always asking you questions. You don't say, hey, go look at this up for yourself, man. You know what? One of the dopest things is you got a Google or Android phone or whatever, and you know what? Google comes on all those phones. I don't know. You got an iPhone, Google, you can search whatever you're asking me on Google. Start there. My oldest brother, very knowledgeable. Greg and Sterl, both my 2 older brothers are very knowledgeable. Not saying that you're not, Paul, but what I'm saying is they're the resource that I go to for technology. Why? Because that's where they spend their space at. So Greg, you go through for anything that's going on with your computer and stuff like that. Sterl, you go through for anything that's going on with finances and music. And Paul, you go through if you want to know what's going on in the hood, you want to know what's in the street. He stayed connected to the street. You know what I'm saying? He stays connected to the hood. And them hood ass niggas. No. But those are the resources that I have should I ever need to reach out to them about any of those things. I'm confident in knowing that they know that because they live and cultivate those spaces, and they do the research in those spaces. You know what I'm saying? So we all have to do that. Tashi says on TikTok, she said, I make both my daughters research before asking. That's right. And that should be the way it should be. If they learn, here's the thing. If they teaching them to go out and seek and find the information themselves is I akin that to that parable in life. It says, if you give a man fish, he'll eat for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she said, Tasha said, you got $1,000+ computer in your hand and use it for more than, that's right. It can't just be used for Snapchat and TikTok and YouTubes and all that. You got to use that thing to YouTube University is real. There's so many of us on here that are educating and teaching that we have to be a resource for that. But listen, more so than that, you all who are listening also have to be directors in this program called Learning. If y'all know somebody don't know something, then direct them. Don't tell them because maybe they don't receive the information from you well. That's another conversation we're going to have next week. The messenger. That's what we're going to call that one. We're going to call that one the messenger. Because some of y'all think y'all are messengers. Some of y'all actively think that y'all can get the point across to some people that you've been trying to get the point across to for some time, and they haven't changed. They haven't adjusted. Maybe you aren't the one that has to tell them, which is cool because I got a couple guys that I work with, you know what I'm saying, and they have riffs every now and again, and I'd be like, look, let me talk to this person. Let me do this. Let me have this conversation. Why? Because I feel like most times people don't want to hear it from you, or they don't want to hear it the way that you would say it. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't want to hear good information from you. It could be the best information of all, but because of whatever reason, your past relationship, the way y'all used to communicate or any of that kind of stuff, they don't want to hear it from you. Everyone in this live got somebody they wish they could communicate with better. I would tell you, maybe you're not the one to deliver the message. Maybe you're not the one that should be communicating that message to them. Maybe you should absolve yourself from that duty and give it to somebody else who's going to have the breakthrough that you want to have. If you truly want the person to have the breakthrough, then you're searching out different mechanics to do it. Now, listen, one of the things that, and you know, what up, Letitia? I think some people are going to say, you know, have an adverse opinion about this. Therapy. Therapy, we're going to talk about therapy next week. I'm going to touch on it right quick now. Therapy. In the black community, I'm not talking about any other community, but black community, people admonish therapy. Now, here's what I got to tell you about therapy after meeting with 2 therapists before in my life, a black one and a white one. My comments on therapy are this. Don't go if you truly don't want to change. Therapy is a remedy. Therapy is a formula for people who want to change. If you don't want to change, don't go waste somebody's time, your money, having someone direct your path that you're not going to do. That for the people that you're not going to follow. Turn on subscriptions. Listen, LA just said I don't get your notifications. So here's I'm gonna come back to therapy right now, but I want to say this: if you're not following me, follow me now. Turn on notifications to always. In order to get the notifications when I come on, it'll come across your screen, whether it's your phone or your computer. You got to turn notifications on and turn them to always. I get on every day, 5 days a week. I'm not giving y'all my weekends. 5 days a week, I get on to do my thing. And listen, and if I'm not giving you my weekends, y'all should look at that for your jobs as well. If you don't work if you work a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, don't give them your weekends. Okay. There's nothing so important that you got to give your job your weekends. Hell, if I work corporate America, they wouldn't get after working hours from me. I'm sorry. What up, Sassy? Only because the work is never done. If the work is never done, why am I breaking my back to do something extra for something that still ain't gonna be done no matter how much I do it? I have a different perspective on stuff. That's probably why I'm not in corporate America. But therapy is necessary for people who really want change. Because what therapy does is it exposes the hard truth about a situation. Many people are living a lie or fake reality. And yes, you will have mixed emotions when a stranger, somebody that you don't know, somebody that you don't know gives you an aspect about your life that you were either afraid to come face to face with, or that you have been hiding in your life, you know what I'm saying? And then they pull it out to the forefront, and then you got to be willing to change, man. Because I'm going to tell you right now, therapy, if done right, if you are transparent in your therapy conversations, you're going to give up what you've been protecting inside yourself all these years. You're going to for the breakthrough. And then, like I said, I told y'all before, everything you do should be met with 100% approach. If you go to therapy, give it all, leave it on the table. When you go into prayer, do you hold back your prayer? Do you hold back when you talk to God? You shouldn't. If you do, you shouldn't. You should be transparent, even though he's omniscient. You got to give it all up. Give it all up. Leave it all there. When they have that call to the altar in church and you decide to go up, don't hold nothing back. Spend it all so that you could be refilled with what you need. When you go to the gym and work out, this is how I be thinking about stuff. I be like, yo, I don't understand people who go to the gym and never sweat. I don't understand you. If you go to the gym and you don't sweat, please make it real for me, because I don't understand. I can't go into a gym and not leave it all in the gym. My shirts, everything, I come out sweaty in a mug. Why? Because I'm trying to have a breakthrough. How many of you people are in a gym trying to have a breakthrough but ain't sweating? I don't get that. And then people be like, I just don't sweat. No, you just don't work out. That's what that is. You just don't work out. Admit it. Like, you don't do enough to even garner the breakthrough that you want. It requires you to sweat. Then people like, I don't drink enough water. It's because I don't drink enough water. How are you in the gym and you're not drinking enough water? How does that work? Explain that to me. Your body is made up of what? What do they say? 70% water, some crazy number like that, and you can't get none out? You can't squeeze none out? Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm just trying to help you understand that if you want a change, you got to spend 100% of your energy trying to get it. Otherwise, I don't believe you want to change. I'm one of those people, when people say, man, I want to do something. I don't listen. This is full circle back to selfless and losing yourself. When people say they want to do something, give them room enough to do it and see if they do it. See if they keep talking about doing it. See where their energy lies. I've been known to be not supportive. I think that's the best way I can support you, is by allowing you to chase the dream, and then my support come in. Listen, I know how I am. Most of y'all know how I am that know me. Y'all know if I get involved, I'm gone. I'm putting 100% into it, and I'm running with that thing. It's going to feel like my project if you started it. And that's my greatest fears. I don't want to do more. I don't want to do more than the person who's initiating it. because I know that once I get involved, I am going to shine. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to do whatever I can do. And if you don't do it, I'm gonna be so mad. If you don't meet me if you don't meet me at the place that you're trying to get to, I'm gonna be so mad, because I'm gonna be like, you started this. How am I finishing it? Now I don't mind that. Now listen. In business, there are people who are going to start things that you're going to finish better than they could. But in the process, they should be showing so much support. They should stay so involved that you see them on your wing as you're doing it. Some people are intimidated by that, and they'll take their hands off the wheel. They'll jump out the car, or they'll, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in situations like that. I've been in groups, singing groups and performance groups. I've been in different troupes like that, where it's like, you get involved, and because of my willingness to adapt and learn and excel, I am going to run the race faster than most of the people I get involved with. It's just a known fact. And I tell people that, you know what I'm saying? And at one point I used to have to dial it back. I didn't have to dial it back. After you do it for so long, people, you get the negative comments, man. You get the people saying, oh, you trying to do this, you trying to do that. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to win, bro. Like, I've distanced myself, and I find myself, it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I play Call of Duty now. I never used to play this game called Call of Duty. I used to play Halo. I used to play Halo because Halo requires some teamwork, but really you could kind of get through it, on your own. And I'm kind of a loner in that way, because I don't want to be disappointed in the lack of effort or energy placed forth by other people. If I can learn to play this game better, so can you. Now, maybe you don't have the motor skills and all that to get it all together, but there has to be an aspect and level of it that you do get that makes you dope. That's right, Bacon, you've been winning, bro. But there's got to be an aspect of it that elevates you. Something, you're good at something. You're good at something. I don't know. I can't tell everybody on this live what they're good at, but you're good at something. Exploit the hell out of that. Let's do that first. Exploit that to a level where you attract the people that you want to be around you, that will support the areas that you're weak, and then you can learn from them and strengthen yourself. Come on, man. I'm talking to somebody. Y'all got to get that part of it. You have to be around people that are better than you at something. Like, for those of you who are lacking the conversation and the bandwidth to get these things done, maybe God didn't gift you with a certain talent. That doesn't mean that you can't succeed in that area. You just have to build the foundation. Listen, most of the people at the top of these companies are nowhere near as smart as the people that are underneath them. Y'all know that. Y'all know that y'all are working jobs that y'all are smarter than the person who has a position above you. Y'all know that y'all are closer to the real energy and knowledge than the people that are above you. They refuse to learn after a certain level. Shoot, why would they? Why would I learn when just me being here and participating is going to be enough to elevate me to the next position? Because you're underneath me. Y'all do know that, right? Like, a great boss will be a boss that actually continues to learn and then teaches you all. But most bosses be chilling, and they let their CFOs and everybody else underneath them talk. They tell them what they need. What is it going on? How much do you think? And they look over here and they say, well, what do you think we should do about this? What have you guys come up with solutions for this? Because I don't have to think now. I'm the boss. I hired all of you so I don't have to think. I actually hired all of you so I don't have to come to work. Ha! I hired all of you so I don't have to do what I did to get here. So you all gonna be the smarter people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't a crazy dynamic. I just see it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you have to want to be that person. If you're working at jobs and you're not figuring out a way how to be, it ain't gonna be the boss of that job, but the boss somewhere. Like, if you don't have a side hustle where you're running things and you can start building, like, these companies are giving y'all the blueprint. They are literally telling y'all how to build a foundation and manage it for yourselves. You should not be at a job where you don't know how it works and how the owner got to what they got to and how they did all. At some point, you got to do some research so you know what it is, because they will respect the fact that you are taking the answers are there. You got the cheat sheet. You're in the building. They're paying you. Come on, man. That's if you want to win. I just don't see myself. Honestly, I can tell y'all right now, I'd have been a beast in corporate America. I'd have been a beast in corporate America. Do you know the funny thing? I'll tell y'all a story when I was going to do, like, before my music career kicked in, my family had their hand on my back about, you know, how I'm going to take care of myself and different things. And the funny part is I got a job, right? Oh, not a job. I had an interview. I think the place was called MCI or something like that. It was in Atlanta. And I went for the job interview. I knew I didn't want the job. I knew I wasn't going to work the job. But I went through all the little steps. I type really, really fast because I play piano, but typing in my family, my sister types like 100 correct words. My brother Sterl types like 121 correct words per minute. Like they type ridiculously crazy. My aunt, my Aunt Bet, she was a typing teacher. No, was Aunt Bet a typing teacher? I want to say she was. Well, if she was, I know she had a friend that was a typing teacher over at Northern who I was in her typing class and she kind of gave me favor because of my aunt. But that kind of just, you have to excuse me, that just threw me back. Threw me back. I haven't talked to my aunt in a while. If anybody's seen my Aunt Bet, just say, hey, I call my Aunt Bet, you know what I'm saying, in a moment. My Instagram is pausing up. All right, let me just pause for the calls real quick. If you're in my lives, make sure y'all are sharing the live, liking the live, and continually to share it and participate in this conversation, man. I just had a moment. Y'all have to excuse me. I just had a moment. But yeah, as you go through this, as you go through these things, you should want to excel in such a way that you have your own thing, your own business, your own side hustle where you're the boss. Work is just an ends to a means for you, and it should be, you know what I'm saying? I think Jimmy Buffett was the one that said, if you're not looking to build your side hustles, you will work until you're 60, 70 years old for somebody else, and they will reap the benefits of it in such a magnanimous way that you'll look back and say, I could have done that. You know what I'm saying? But y'all are inside the building. That's another cool thing is when you're inside the building, you get to see how things work. You know what I'm saying? And I'd learn all the mechanics of it so that you can have that conversation when you sit down at the table. A lot of you don't like the way you're being treated at work. Well, find a way to, first off, adjust your mindset around how you're being treated, and then put yourself in a position where the way that you are being made to feel that you can channel that to your own business. So that you could channel that and do something great with it or whatnot. But this was the recap, y'all. This was the recap of this week. If you thought this conversation was cool, just think this is a culmination of all the other conversations that we took a deep dive into previously this week. We started off with selflessness. We started about with you being the motivation and winning from the beginning, and we went from there. And next week, like Joe Brad Cooper just really lit the room up with her comment. She said, your quality of life, well, it inspired this conversation we're gonna have next week. Your quality of life should be greater than your fear of death. I'm just telling y'all to get to living. It is the weekend, which I really want to have. I don't know why, but I'm gonna do some research. I've been wanting to have this conversation about words. I've seen a couple memes come across my my social media where, words matter. And, like I know Tashi will not say, she'll say grand rising before she ever says good morning. Because the word morning means to weep, it's associated with death. You know what I'm saying? I know she won't say that. So I'm managing that conversation. Words matter. So when we say the weekend, it's as though we're saying we're not strengthened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna dive into some words. I know y'all know about television, you know what I'm saying, being more of a spellbinding thing. I know we talk about channels and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean, the witchcraft in words. Maybe we'll dive into that. I got to do more research on it though, so that I can really communicate that stuff to you in a better way. Yep, that's a better way of saying things, Bacon. Great day. That's the right way to, we got to look at how we use our words. I'm a big person on words, and y'all know that. Y'all know I will self-correct when I say something. Y'all know that I'm looking when people leave comments, and I'll just redirect their comment. I want to admonish them for it, but I will redirect it. But our words matter. I tell you, our words matter in the deepest places that we use them. In our conversations with our loved ones, our words matter. They cut like a knife, like nobody else's conversation ever has. With the people that are close to you, your words matter more to them than they matter to a stranger. When dealing with contracts, words matter. When dealing with social media, words matter. When texting, words matter. Why? Because no one knows the intent behind them, even as you type or say them. But if you knew the definition, if you knew the other meanings that were attached to it, then you would adjust how and what you say, and you would understand that the outcome would be different as well. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You're absolutely right, LA. It's what you say and how you say it. Words are in your spirit, Higgs says on TikTok. You're absolutely right. And so we don't talk about it enough. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about how we communicate enough to be effective to our close group of people, and how we sometimes disrespect that conversation because we say some foolish stuff to one another, and don't let it get heated. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. The greatest display of who you are is what you say at a moment that you are disenchanted. The greatest moment of who you are is defined by what you say during a moment of disenchantment. What are you saying when you're not happy? How are you saying it? Whom are you saying it to? That matters. It's almost that conversation that people have where they say, yo, you want to know who your real friends are, find out what they're saying about you when you're not around. Now, I'll tell you, I don't worry about stuff like that. Like, I don't care what you said about me. Those that know me will always stand in stand in the fold, say, no, that ain't Scrap. We know that ain't Dwight. He don't do that. That ain't even like him. If you know him, then you know he that's not him. Like, when I get banned on TikTok, it's the strangest thing because they try to ban me for bullying, and I'd be like, I would never do that. Like, that's not in my DNA. The tatted introvert says, hey, I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I hope so too. I hope that, you know what I'm saying, based off of this conversation, this energy, and all of us being on here, all I wanted to do was launch y'all into an amazing weekend and give y'all something to look forward to. Now, don't think about it all weekend. You know what I mean? I know I can stay on people's mind a whole lot. Don't think about it this whole weekend. I want y'all to live in the moment. Put your phones away. Don't video every moment. It's not for everybody. I need to write that down. Yep. Give the moment 100%. Give each moment. Yeah. Give each moment. Each moment. It's 100%. Give each moment its 100%. I've learned to say I'm not ready to talk the few times I allowed. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Thank you, Tashi. We talked about that too. We talked about control, self-control. When we were talking about selflessness and all those things, self-control is probably one of the greatest things you're going to have to master. Tashi said, I have learned to say I'm not ready to talk the few times I allow myself to get upset. I love the way you worded that because it's deeper than even just how I just said it. You are the only one who can allow people into that space that triggers you if you're in complete control of yourself. And I know that's a work in progress for a lot of us, but I'm going to tell y'all who can't get me upset most times. A stranger can get me upset. If anybody's going to get me upset, it's going to be somebody I know, somebody who's invested, somebody who I love, somebody who I care about, somebody who's invested time in our friendship. You're going to piss me off. Nobody else can really piss me off, but you might have a shot. And for me, it's just a long shot. You really can't upset me because I'd be like, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm keeping it poppin' said, right. Yeah, you can't, nobody, I missed the other one. I'm keeping it poppin' here said, my birthday weekend is jacked up. I plan to be phone free. That's right. That's what you do. You go and you stay in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And don't let outside things that really shouldn't affect you, don't let them affect you. Like, I give no credence to anything that tries to take me out of my love and my frequency and my vibe. I don't care about none of that stuff. You don't know me well enough to affect me like that. You ain't even, you know what I'm saying? You're not, I got control over that. I got control over the spaces and places that I go to and that I interact with and that intersect in my life. Ain't nobody going, you can't, come on, man. Maturity is rooted in that. You know what I'm saying? Your maturity is displayed by how you deal with the things that try to trigger you or try to get you upset. How mature are you really if anything can get you upset? I'm keeping it poppin' says, I protect my peace at all times. Not only protect it, but you should circulate it. So one of the things I'm keeping it poppin' is we are so much on the defense that we forget what offense feels like. You can't be on defense so much that your offensive game sucks. You can't win like that because you don't even seek out or impart your peace on other people. Because you protect it and you got your peace, spill it on the people around you. Give them the game, show them the technique, let them know what you're doing so that they can have that peace. And now you're fortified by the peace that is surrounding you from everybody else. Tashi said, I agreed. Never could a stranger work me that high to get upset. They never should. It's okay, Honey Butter. She said on Instagram, Honey Butter said, sorry, I'm late. Listen, you right on time. Whatever you finna hear from this point on is exactly for you. You know what I'm saying? You're never late. You're right on time for the conversation that is supposed to happen at the time it's supposed to happen. I got no control over that. This thing is bigger than me. But you came right in while Keeping It Poppin' said she's protecting her peace. Ain't y'all tired of just being protected or protectors? And in doing that, we shield ourselves, right? But what about when you need to advance? Well, we can't protect and advance at the same time. We got to go. We got to go. Listen, even when we play these video games, you got to have an offense and a defense. There's a time to strike and a time to sit back and chill. If you can't discern from which one is which, you're going to have a slow burn. You need to get where you going. If you got that piece, I'm keeping it popping, make sure everybody around you knows it so they understand it so it's not a surprise and you got to tell them, I'm protecting my peace. They know. I'm keeping it popping. She, you don't come to her with that. She don't do that. Yep. Tashi, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Tashi's daughter says, Ma, you stay unbothered. That is the way that you want the community of people around you to understand. Like that's why I know I have so many conversations with people. People will call me because they know I got a clear mind and a clear heart and a clear thought when it comes to a lot of the different things they want to talk about. One of the best things about talking to me is I'm not judgmental. I'm not biased. I just sit back and listen. And I listen to you say what you're saying so I can help you sort through it, because usually the answers are so simple, but because your life is so complex and compiled with so many different things that you can't see it right in front of your face. A lot of you are standing too close to the elephant. I'm nowhere near it, so I can look at you and the elephant and say, well, what about this? Have you did this? You know what I'm saying? And it's something simple. It'd be like, no, man, you know what? I could have done, you right. I should have just, boom, there we go. I seek the simplest solutions because most solutions are simple. They said that, during this pandemic, they were worried about all these different things. And I said in 2020, the only problem that we had was letting other people tell us how to live and getting involved with other people. Nothing about what happened in 2021 helped. Not a thing. 2021, they implemented their money grabbing scheme. And in that, they killed and hurt a lot of people. Even before that, in 2020, they had to hurt and kill a lot of people in order to get you to buy into the second half of the program. But if you're fortified in your beliefs, and if you're doing the things that it takes to maintain and manage, then, that's not a concern. I was working out. I was jogging. I was staying, in the sun. I went against it all. I mean, it's not because I don't trust. Yeah, it is. Part of it is because I'm not trusting. I'll be honest with you. I don't trust the entity that confines us all here. You know what I mean? I don't trust that. So with my distrust for that, I manage myself differently in it. Rules are meant to be broken, and you have to understand who's creating the rules and why. If you're not looking at those things, you will comply with everything. If you don't look at who's making the rules and who's breaking the rules, then you won't get it. The very people who make the rules don't abide by the rules. And if the people who are making the rules don't abide by the rules, I have to look at why they wouldn't do it and why they're asking me to do it. And if it's no other reason than control, then I have to understand that this is my shot at life. And I got to take it the way I see fit. I can't, be managed by all those different things. So yeah, I've been known to be a rule breaker a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And anyone who, when y'all look at all these millionaires and billionaires, if y'all don't understand that they've broken a ton of rules, you know what I'm saying? They break all the rules. You know what I'm saying? We talking about Trump and his taxes. What? Man, they break all the rules. Tashi said all that part. As a nurse, their ass didn't make complete sense. Still see free, as you should be. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, I don't want to dive into that. I can't talk about that era of our life, those 2 years. I can't do it. I'm keeping it poppin'. Harris on Facebook says, I study people and react off their vibes, but I don't let bitterness reside in me. I just choose people differently. True story. I understand life. Circumstances and situations cause people to do the things that they do. I don't take anything personal. People are human and prone to mess up and do foul stuff. That is an awesome approach to how you should deal with people. I say it a little bit simpler, Harris. I just say people didn't grow up like me. They don't know what I know. And I can't admonish people for that. I can't be mad at you because if I was really in one of my moods, I'd be like, I can't be mad at you because you dumb. I would say that, but I wouldn't say it like that. But I would say I can't be mad at you because you don't know what I know. Matter of fact, at this point, if I care about you or the situation enough, I will spend the extra 2 to 3 minutes educating you on why I move and how I move so that you don't make the same mistake with somebody else. That's part of what we're commissioned to do, is those of us that know better have to do better. And that leads me to another one of the comments that I think affected people really, really well this week. I talked about my mentor, Bernard Terry, who said to me what I'm going to say to you that I think that maybe you can benefit from it as well. He said, the knowledge is not yours to keep. You should die an empty vessel. Period. All the game you've learned over your lifetime should be sprinkled over everybody that you meet. There should be somebody whose legacy is changed and adjusted by something that you've said or done. Yeah, rest in peace, BT. There should be something you said or done that should affect somebody based off of the knowledge that you've learned in your life. We don't seek the teaching and understanding of our elders enough so that they can die empty. We're allowing them to die with so much information. It's crazy. Yep, it's ours to impact someone else with. You're absolutely right. And not just your family. A lot of times we think that commission, it stops with our family and friends. No, you got to affect. Here's the thing. Y'all ever watch Spider-Man? The version where they show the Spider-Man put on the suit and go wrestle. And then when he goes to wrestle and pick up his money, the guy wouldn't give him his money. And when he didn't give the guy his money, a thief came in and took the money and he ran off with it. And eventually he ended up killing that guy's uncle. We have to know what we know and do what we do, because you don't know who you're going to affect that could affect your kid. Like, a lot of times y'all think this is just for your family, your friends. The conversation is bigger than that, because somebody who could impact your family or your friends might have needed to hear some of this stuff. Might have needed a mindset shift. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all got to repeat this. That's why you got to spill it on everybody, because it might affect somebody who could down the road affect you or somebody that you love. A lot of times we hold this information so close to us that we don't think about the residual effect that it could have once you put it out there. It could speedball, it could tumbleweed into something, it could snowball into something way greater and bigger than you ever expected it to be, in such a positive manner that now the community of people that you associated with are all up on game. They all know the play. You ain't got to say it to them twice. And if you do reiterate it to them, it's just a tweak. It's not a full overhaul. You know what I'm saying? All we want to do is make these adjustments in life so that other people are affected by it in such a way that our community is better, that the group of people that you associate with is better, that the group that you may extend yourself to include might be better. It's important that we understand that it should never start and stop with us. That is a wasted existence. If it starts and stops with you, you're not doing your job correctly. If a mindset shift that you have that is positive and has worked for you and is tried and proven because you've used it and you've taken your lumps and you've gone through the whole gambit, if in fact you have not shared that with somebody and somebody else does not own that and has decided to take it the next, because it's a marathon, y'all. If they haven't decided to take the baton and continue with it, then it's a wasted existence. Something that you should be more than a fart in the wind. You should be a doo-doo stain in the drawers. You should be something remembered. You know what I'm saying? There should be some nostalgic reported about something you've said or done, so much so with somebody that has shifted the way that they do things. That's important. It's not just, it's important that they shift. It's important that they make an adjustment. It's important that whatever you say or done has caused people to reconsider. That is probably one of the greatest rewards that you'll ever receive, is to say to somebody listen, I've had people say it and it's blown me away. It's the most craziest feeling to have somebody say, yo, I tuned into your live and you changed my life. There's no greater compliment. There's not a gift y'all can buy, a badge you can buy. There's not a tip that you can give or a cash app you can give. There's nothing greater than somebody saying that my life is effectively changed for the better. And the dope part about that is the possibilities are endless as to what that means and who all can be affected by that. When you really change somebody's life and they're walking in that experience of that change, well, now everything, it's crazy when I'm saying this out loud now. The fallout from that is it could be so ginormous. Like, it could be so crazy that generations are affected by it. I mean, we're still living and listening and repeating some of the conversations of Martin Luther King, of Malcolm X. Those are the people who have made contributions verbally and physically that have reverberated throughout time, and they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. I see you switched over to the IG, Joe Bragg. I see you. Those conversations aren't going anywhere. You don't have to be as pronounced as them, but somebody in your circle thinks you're their Malcolm X, thinks that you're their Martin Luther King, thinks that you're their Sojourner Truth. They think that you're that person that is standing in the fold for them. And if that's the case, then you got to do your job. Look, man, we all got roles to play. God puts us in positions and gives us gifts. And if you don't spend those gifts, if you don't use them, if you don't exhaust them, if you don't need to replenish, if you don't do all the things with those gifts that you got, then you're the one playing around with your existence. You're the one who's playing around with your experience and how your legacy will live on. I know that for the way that I have been and the way I've been selfless with some people, and I put my finger up for selfless so y'all understand that, these are all some of the points that we made before. But in that selflessness, I've affected the careers of a lot of people, period. Some of it has gone unrewarded financially, but it's gone rewarded socially. It's gone rewarded mentally. You know what I mean? For me, it's just good. It's that feeling. Knowing that you've affected people's lives and their families. When I see some of the people that I've worked with and I see their families thriving and that they're growing and they're healthy and all that, I don't be like, yo, I did that. I just be sitting back like, that's what's up. And that's the strength that should keep you going. That should be the thing that continues to propel you forward in your gift giving, whether it's verbally, physically, financially, spiritually, however you choose to give. That's how it should work. I don't look for a return on the investment. You know what I'm saying? There is instant gratification from y'all likes and from y'all shares and from y'all gifting. That's cool. I appreciate that. Man, the long-term effect, I've had it, man. It feels great. Like, for instance, there was this guy, I don't know if we were on, he booked a consultation. That's what it was. He booked a consultation, man, and he was talking about his T-shirts. He got a T-shirt company. He was like, yo, man, I'm trying to do more with it. And I really want my social media to reflect it and blah, 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 blah. And I'll be honest with y'all. I used to keep the recordings. I got a few of the recordings from my Zoom meetings or whatnot. But I don't remember recording that Zoom meeting or keeping it. Or if I did, I can't find it. But he was like, he came back. I saw him on live. I don't know if he was seeking me out or what. I just know it was about a year. He was like, yo, I just wanted to jump on your live, man, and tell you, yo, everything you did helped me, man. My t-shirt business is going through the roof, da da da. And I don't even remember the conversation. And I won't remember what from this conversation. How could I ever know what's going to impact somebody? How am I ever going to know what from this you're taking and going to use to adjust and change your life? I won't know until you tell me. You know what I'm saying? But I would rather you show me and do the things that, you know, whatever adjustment that takes, and then you come back and say, Scrap, man, when you said blah, 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 you don't know how you was dealing with that, man. You know what I'm saying? What up, Dion? That you don't know how, whatever you blah, 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 and I did this, and this made me do this, and it made me do that. And that's the blessing for me. That's the part where I'm like, boom, life change. You know, I want to be a part of so many people's legacies from that aspect, because it's such an enriching feeling to know that you've changed the trajectory of someone's career or social existence or entrepreneurial path. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed to be in this position to do that. But, you know, as this is just the recap, you guys can go to my Instagram. I mean, to my you guys can go to my IG. The best reward is how you make people feel. Yep. And in that, Paul, one of the other rewards to that is them letting you know how you made them feel. It's always dope for people to say, yo, man, I appreciate that. Not necessary, but it is appreciated. So here is, and this ain't for y'all because y'all already on the channel. For you all over here, if you want, well, no, some of y'all aren't. So if y'all want to get on my YouTube channel, let me see. Man, this is supposed to focus. Let me see. It's supposed to focus when I do that. I ain't about this expensive ass camera for it not to focus. There we go. I gotta bring it here. There we go. YouTube.com ICGreen1, and I'll show y'all over here if y'all not on it. YouTube.com ICGreen1. If y'all are not following me on my YouTube channel, subscribe to it today. YouTube.com ICGreen1. It should be listed somewhere on the comments or whatever. Harris says, I'm a social worker, so that is always my reward, making a difference in someone's life. That's exactly it. You know what I mean? And keeping it social, you know what I'm saying? For those of you who have been on the live, I am so excited and delighted at all the love and outpouring that has happened on my YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody. Hopefully you have subscribed and turned on notifications to always. If you wanted to do anything, there are super chats and super likes that y'all can purchase on there. It's in the little dollar sign that's down at the bottom. I appreciate anyone who's gifted on my TikTok channel. You know, I always appreciate y'all showing me a deeper appreciation than the likes and the shares. And anybody who bought badges on my IG, I appreciate y'all and I thank y'all so much. This was just a Friday recap. Everything that we talked about in one shape or another. Marmar, that's what's up. Marmar says, I'm a funeral director and I'm trying to make my best to make a difference. You are absolutely making a difference, and the way that you handle and care for people in that moment is the difference. You know what I'm saying? Is everything. So Sassy said, I do a lot of volunteer work. I love seeing the smiles on others' face. That's what's up. Absolutely. Giving is the greatest gift ever. You know what I'm saying? That you'll ever receive is the feeling of knowing that you're making a difference in somebody's life. That giving goes far beyond even the reciprocity of it. Like, most people that you're giving to are not in a position to return anything but a smile or a thank you, and they don't realize just how powerful that is when they do it, because we do a lot of things in life that go unnoticed and under the radar. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we've been live for 90 minutes today, and I'm about to start, unwinding and getting things prepared to have a really great weekend as well. Hopefully I blessed you guys this weekend. You know what I'm saying? You guys have always been a blessing to me. Just being here is part of it. But if you want to go above and beyond that, if you want to do more with these lives, share, like when you get involved. If you can afford to, hit the super chat, super likes, subscriptions, memberships, gifting, and all that kind of stuff. Or you can also support by, my book is always with me on here. If you want to support, you can buy the book at yoursocialdigitalcurrency.com. This helps you guys understand your birthright with social media. So when you get on social media, you know exactly what it is and how to benefit from it, what the social currency is that is associated with it or whatnot. So you can buy the hard copy. I've listed the website on my If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, you guys can see it. It's on the screen. You go to www.yoursocialdigitalcurrency.com. It's all one word, all one spelled it how it sounds, yoursocialdigitalcurrency.com. You can go there and pick up the hard copy. I'll sign it, you know what I'm saying, so you guys get a copy of it, of my first signed book. It will not be my last, but my first book. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, I'm on Monday through Friday, and as far as a particular time, I know people want to, put me in a box on the schedule. As of right now, as we're building this live, as we're learning to show up when the opportunity presents itself, we'll continue to do that until I find it's a sweet spot in the timing for everybody to be a part of the live. Because I went live at like 3 or 4 different times this week, and sometimes were really, really, really dope. And the engagement, I love the everybody who left a comment. Y'all don't know how much that means to me, because I don't like to feel like I'm just talking. And when I get a chance to respond and read comments and engage with the comments, that's the kind of social media engagement I want. I don't want to be talking at you. I want to be talking with you. So as you guys are communicating back and forth, I appreciate it. I love what she said. I'm gonna keep it popping. She said, "Good job, Dwight. I enjoyed this and will follow." That's all I can ask for, and that's one of the greatest compliments you can give me, is by tuning in, by showing up, by conversing. I loved your input, and as y'all can see, when Joe said what she said, she inspired the first conversation for next week. We have three conversations. All right, Paul. We got 3 conversations for next week on the thing. That's another thing I want to tell y'all. If y'all have something y'all want me to kind of touch on or get my take on, you guys can hit me in the DMs on my Instagram channel, which is the same, Dwight Scrap Reynolds, or my Instagram channel. Put something in my inbox that you might want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? And I'll do, like I said, I do some research, I'll get into it. And, if I think it'll help or benefit the community of people who show up on the lives, then yeah, we should talk about it. But next week, we're going to talk about your quality of life should be greater than your fear of death. We're going to talk about the quality of life. Nobody really ever talks about the quality of life on social media. Like they never say, like, listen, how are you living? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody talks about that. Like nobody literally says you should position yourself to thrive in your living. I did say this year, though, at the top of the year during my lives, I said, we're not surviving this year, we're thriving this year. I said, we're not surviving, we're thriving this year. And that's how you should position yourself, is that your mindset is that we're not just getting through this thing called life, we're going to be running it. Whatever that means to you and however that means that you're going to position yourself, is that you're going to boss this life up. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we're going to talk about the messenger. The messenger conversation is just based off of this, right? We want to have a breakthrough with all the people that are in our lives. We want to affect the people in our lives, but we may not be the ones who should be having that conversation with people. So I want to have a conversation based around, the messenger, or how to be a better messenger, or how to get that message across, you know what I'm saying, to people that you care and have concern over. Because the greatest thing, sometimes we forget the goal in our conversation with people. Sometimes we be talking and we forget what we want. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, in that conversation for the messenger, it's going to help y'all so much, because there are things that y'all want that y'all forget that y'all really know how to get. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And let me make that you know what I mean? Let me mark that too, so I make sure I touch on that. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, get what you want. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Joe said, first time listening. Bless you, Dwight. Good message today. Love the positive vibes. Listen, make sure if you're on my Facebook, actually jump over to YouTube and subscribe, y'all. I know some of y'all don't have YouTube channels, but y'all can go over and subscribe, build one and subscribe or whatnot. And then you can actually join me on YouTube when I go live. I typically go live on 6 formats at one time. Right now we're live on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So we're live on those 6 right now. I will increase the bandwidth on that as I'm more affiliated and associated with different social media platforms. But for right now, the main one to jump on is YouTube. And then from there, you know, if you are on something else, that's cool. I know LaRon gets on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and sometimes YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Holly, yeah. That's what's up, Holly. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure y'all have y'all notifications turned on every one of these is imperative so that you could join me at the beginning, because I probably spend about 5 minutes letting the room cultivate and just having, you know, a brief conversation. I will start off each one. I'm going to start talking about some of the things that are happening in pop culture to start the conversation off, so that the heavy lifting and the real meat and potatoes isn't missed by most of you who come in maybe 10, 15 minutes after the show is started. But we got 3 topics for next week that I think are going to be great. If you guys have any suggestions, hit me up on my DMs on Instagram, and maybe we can I can see how that fits into the conversation in the program, or touch on some things that you guys want to talk about. There's nothing off limits. I've talked about transgender before. I've talked about the Jewish community conversation on here before. So everything is on the table. I just need to know in advance what you want to talk about, so I can kind of make sure I don't step on any toes. Because I've gotten banned from having certain conversations. Like, they actually banned me on TikTok. YouTube, not so much. Like I said, their flexibility is different. And I want to make sure that all of our needs are met when we have these conversations. And it helps. I like learning all the time. So to learn and to be pointed in a direction, to learn something, to communicate about, is always cool. With that in mind, I'm going to give my shout outs to Instagram. I'm going to say thank you all for tuning in. Catch me next time live. So I do not run any replays on Instagram. So even though I'm live on there and they give you the opportunity to save the live, I don't. On TikTok actually saves the lives for you, but I don't like the way they look on the replay, because it's still in portrait mode. And what happens when you put it on like another format, it just doesn't translate well. So to my people on TikTok, I appreciate y'all showing up and appreciating my time by gifting, you know what I'm saying, going above and beyond the likes and the shares. We did really well today. So thank y'all for showing up and showing out. But I will talk to y'all later. And last but not least, my YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn people, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Y'all made it really, really dope today with your presence. Those of you who have showed up and stayed and conversed and enjoyed the conversation and joined in the conversation, y'all make this live worth doing. I appreciate y'all. This is not goodbye. This is to be continued. Tell your friends, tell your family, join us Monday through Friday. Let's get into a conversation that'll change your situation. I'm Dwight Scrap Reynolds. Have a good day. Have a great weekend.